Hello, it is Jack Gill, and welcome to Anfield Agenda. Yes, we are live for tonight's late night agenda. Thank you for joining me for this one, and I apologise for the light. I'm just going to put my head here, and I'm sorry it's such a late night agenda today. Obviously, we've had the England game on, therefore we didn't want to really rush this with it being England-Poland. We thought that we'd give it a rest, and come go live, sorry, should I say, immediately after the game. But nonetheless, we've got lots to talk about today. I'm sure I'm going to get asked one question in particular over and over again, which I will address in a bit. But for now, I've got an ad read to read out. And again, we are sponsored by our lovely Manscaped, where you can use the code WFM20 for 20% off. And now football is back, and I'm talking about proper football, not this international break bollocks. And talking of bollocks, that's why you need Manscaped. They're here with a masterclass for you to get ready for after the international break. The leaders in men's grooming have done it again. You've got to join the 2 million men worldwide who trusted Manscaped with a new Performance Package 4.0. And we've told you before what is included in this Performance Package 4.0. But I'm going to tell you again, it's class, and it brings male grooming to the next level. In there, you will find their lawnmower 4.0. I'm not talking about once a more lawn, you mow your lawn outside. I'm talking about your down belows. A trimmer, a weed whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, and inside you also get 2 free gifts. It includes a 4th generation trimmer with a cutting edge ceramic blade, which reduces grooming accidents. And I'll tell you what as well, this gets better and better because sorry about that. Blame Manscaped. I'm joking. But yeah, here we go. That worry, I'm now on 4G, so it shouldn't be. But if that happens again, I will be back, so do not worry. I'm out of house at the minute. I've got a new job. So for now, we're going to have to deal with this Wi-Fi. So I'm really, really sorry. I'm going to sort it out as quickly as I can. But anyway, I'm going to get straight into it because we have a lot about the last 25 past. So here we go. Firstly, the third kit, mixed reactions. I can see people saying I'm still freezing. Let me try this. Give me a second, guys. Bear with. All right. I won't be long. Sorted. That should be fine now. We'll be out. We'll be absolutely fine now. If there's still problems, I'll end the stream and we'll sort it out there. But yeah, it should be fine now. So we'll get into it. The third kit, it's gone down. There's been mixed reactions, hasn't there, with the third kit? Let me know what you think in the comments. It reminds me. Well, listen, rival fans will not be laughing when we end up in the Champions League final playing McDonald's away, will they? Let's be honest. But no, if I'm being genuinely serious, it's not the best kit in the world. You can see where the club have gone in releasing it. It seems to be sort of, an indie head sort of festival kind of kit. You can tell that by, Takumi Minamino and Joel Matip in the bucket hats in the kit launch. I also think it's one aim for the kids, which the third kit always is. But, the home kit's nice this year. The away kit's lovely. So it'll do. It'll do. And Liverpool in the past, we have been decent with yellow kits, haven't we? So, yeah, that's my opinion. But let me know what you think. As I say, I've seen mixed reactions. I'm not too against it. I don't think it's great. I certainly won't be spending £100 on it. But it's, bless me, it's not as bad as some people have made it out to be, is it? But anyway, let's read out your comments and see what you think. Nick Wall says, it looks like a little chef uniform from the 80s. Macaulay says, am I the only person that likes it? No, I've seen quite a few that say they like it. What's been said? Mick Wall says, got to feel for my teddy bear stuck on top of the wardrobe. Poor fella. It's not mine, but yeah, I feel for it too. As you can see, there's loads stuffed all over the gaff here. So there you go. Thunder 512 says the third kit isn't terrible. I'd agree. Shanza says it sucks. I don't understand the colour. It looks so much better with a red collar, but we move. Anything else? Reminds me of McDonald's, says Billy Ellingsworth. Sunny Lally says Muck Chicken Legends FC. I like these nicknames. I like them. I'm also going to address, because I can see a few comments here about Craig and where Craig is. If you've not seen Twitter, he's taking a break. To be honest, he's getting sick of the hate in the comments, which we get off one or two people, which just doesn't seem to be stopping. And this is why I tweeted about it the other day, and I'm going to preach it to this stream. And we don't know what's going to happen with Craig going forwards in this channel, but I will tell you that it is important to always remember that, to support people, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And it's about time that companies like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook did more to stop this constant trolling and constant bullying from continuing, because it happens every video. I've seen a lot of disrespect to him even after his tweets today, and I don't blame him. He's got a family that he needs to look after. And people just don't know the limits, and it's not going to stop until Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everyone stops it. And they can do that in multiple ways, and it needs to happen now, because it's happening too frequently and it's happening to too many people. And Craig is one of many, many, many people who it's happening to. So, I happen to know Craig, so does Connor. He's a lovely, lovely man who does nothing but try and give people enjoyment in their lives. He uses his passion to try and give enjoyment to other people's lives. So just get off his back, honestly. Report people. If you see comments like this, report them. Try and do what you can on Twitter by tweeting and making sure that people know that these rules need to change. Twitter, Instagram, social media, everyone involved with social media needs to make their rules tighter and stricter to stop this from happening. And that's where I'm leaving it. And I'm moving on now to the big news of the day, the big talking point, and that is the Brazilian FA and what they've done, which is absolutely farcical. To be honest with you, they have, because obviously Premier League clubs agreed to not send their players out on international duty to clubs that are obviously in the red list, and therefore would have to isolate when they got back. What the Brazilian FA have decided to do is make sure that these players that weren't allowed to go are banned for the next match in the Premier League, which is obviously going to be contested by, of course, the Premier League clubs involved. But the weird clause in this, which I'm going to read out now, is that Everton's Richarlison isn't involved. And I wonder why that is. Apparently, it's because of the club's good relationship with the Brazilian FA. Now, it just seems like they've just picked out a few clubs and gone, I'm not happy with you, our relationship's bad, whatever. You've not allowed us to take these players on our international break, so we're going to kick a fuss. And because we're the Brazilian FA, we're bigger than your one league. So there you go. Have this. And I think it's ridiculous. These clubs, Liverpool are just one of many clubs, by the way, but these clubs pay the wages of these players, and therefore they are well within their rights, especially with everything going on at the minute, well within their rights to stop their players from traveling to different countries in the middle of the season. Absolutely. Especially with all the international footy that went on over the summer. So, for me, I think it's an absolute joke from Brazil. I think it will be overturned. And I think the Richarlison part has screwed themselves over as well. They just stop doing this. UEFA, FIFA, individual FAs, stop thinking you're Billy Big Bollocks because you shit yourselves when the Super League came in. And yes, I'm a football fan. I don't like the Super League. I don't like UEFA. I don't like FIFA. I don't like each country's FAs because they're all trying to take football away from what football should be. And this is just another example of this happening. For me, I'm not happy with it at all. I'm really not. And I hope it gets turned over. I expect it to get turned over because I think it's an absolute disgrace. And as far as I'm concerned, what are they going to do? Fine us. We saved enough money by not fucking buying anyone in the summer, didn't we? So, happy days. I think it's a disgrace, to be honest with you. I think they've just done it because of the Olympics, because clubs didn't allow players to go off to the Olympics as well, which, again, they're well within their rights to do. It's a joke, isn't it? It's nothing short of that. And let me have a look what is being said in the comments. Thunder512 says, I think that Brazilian players will play. I agree. And they better do, because otherwise we need to look at this in more detail. We stopped the Super League from happening, but football within itself, these big governing bodies, how much power do they have? Pick and choose. And if Brazilians are allowed, then will other countries start doing it? Because I think they will. I think more and more countries will follow Brazil's leads and go, hang on a minute, they didn't allow our players to go either. We're going to do the same. You can't be doing that. You just can't. Get a grip with yourself. Do you know what? I'm an advocate for binning international footy off completely in the middle of the season. Have a summer for it. Have a winter break and do it during that. But especially during COVID, to allow them to keep going off on international break as much as they did. We saw it happen last season. How many players went to international break and came back with COVID? How many international teams have struggled during this international break? Wales, I believe, had an issue with COVID in their squad at one point too. We've seen Granit Xhaka, him in the Switzerland camp. He obviously refused getting the vaccine, and then he's come down with COVID. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. For me, it can't happen. Gareth Baird says, Jack, you be on Redmen TV as well. Not anymore, but I did used to be, mate. Yes. Anything else? There's a bit of a debate about Kelleher or Adrian on who to start. And for me, it has to be Kelleher. Let me rephrase that. It's going to be Alisson. But if Alisson can't play, it'll be Kelleher. I suppose the good thing is that, if we are without Alisson and Fabinho for this game, obviously Firmino's involved too, but he's injured and likely to miss the game anyway. But Leeds will be without, Rafinha, who is their best player. So for me, I think, swings and roundabouts, they will also be without a very top player of theirs. So, let's have a look. Anything else to talk about today? There's been a lot of links to Jude Bellingham that I've seen. I know it was tweeted by ourselves earlier on in the day. I'm just trying to see where it's come from. I'd be buzzing with it. You know, me and Craig have been chewing for a while. I'm fully on the side of I need to hear "Hey Jude" on the cop. So yeah, I would be absolutely buzzing to have Jude Bellingham at the club. As I say, I will try and find as quick as I possibly can where that link has come from. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about Jude Bellingham. You know, me and Craig have been all about it for a while now, but are you all about it? I thought it was absolutely phenomenal in England's previous game before tonight against Andorra. And for someone so young, we know he's got a relationship with Jordan Henderson as well. He's just a fabulous player, isn't he? So good to watch. And we kept getting told, you know, before this summer, Liverpool are willing to break the bank, but only for a generational talent. This guy's a generational talent. He's the next Steven Gerrard. I'm telling you that. He's the closest thing to Steven Gerrard I have seen since Steven Gerrard. I'm telling you that now. The guy is outstanding. And I've got this report for you now. It says Liverpool want to sign Jude Bellingham next summer in what could prove to be a club record £80 million deal. It's from the Daily Star, and it's also worth noting that they are also reporting a £30 million move for Marco Asensio in January, which is definitely bollocks. But we can dream, can't we? We can absolutely dream. And we've been chewing for a while. We've missed out on Mbappe by the looks of it. He's going to go on a free to Real Madrid. We're not paying what they want for Haaland. You know, we're not paying what Mino Raiola wants for Haaland, let's be honest. So, there you go. Jude Bellingham, next best thing. Choo, make it happen. Anyway, I missed a super chat from Miss Golden, so I'm going to get that up now. And I've seen some lovely comments for Craig, so thank you very much. I need to see more of that. And I know we get lovely comments for Craig all the time as well, but if anyone sees just a shit comment, just fucking report it, please. And hopefully soon enough we'll see these, you know, these twats that do this get kicked off platforms like this, because they're the scum of the earth. They really are. Liz Golden says, sending love and light to you all. We love you, Craig. Well said, Jack. We are fucking massive. Thank you very much, Liz. I really appreciate that $5 super chat. Thank you. And love and light to you too. And love and light to the whole community here that we have at Anfield Agenda. Let me have a look. Anything else here? Will Craig be back tomorrow? People are saying, I don't know at this point. Okay, I'm going to be open and honest. I don't know. But we're going to move on. We're here to talk about football. I really appreciate. I genuinely do really appreciate the lovely comments that you lot are sending. But you'll see Craig again. He'll have his time to explain. But yeah, we just need to make sure there's no more, you know, shit comments on this on Anfield Agenda. I know we're gonna get it. You know, it's part and parcel of running a successful, you know, business like Anfield Agenda is now. Yeah, you're gonna get comments like that, but it's important to know that companies should change that. You know, they should change the fact that I've come on here and said you're gonna get it. You shouldn't be getting it. It's as simple as that. People can be entitled to their opinion. People can not like you. You don't need to voice it. You know, you don't need to voice it in the point where you're sending people threats and stuff like that. Just no, absolute trash. But anyway, we'll move on. David Coleman says, choo for sure, but sick of links, rumours and Liverpool tracking bullshit. Only interested if a player's had a medical, signed a contract and is wearing our shirt. Dave, I completely agree. You know, I've got to a point where, you know, my childhood was about absolutely loving transfer deadline day, about absolutely loving transfer windows, you know, chatting with your mates about, oh, is this player going to join this team? Is this player going to join this team? Now, if I see a player being linked with Liverpool, I hate it. You know, other transfer rumours with other clubs, sometimes I look at it and think, oh, that's nice if that's to happen, or what the fuck, like that makes no sense. But with Liverpool now, it annoys me because I get too excited about things, you know. I was excited about this summer. You had the top journalists saying after we signed Konate, oh, of course Liverpool will sign more players. You had even to the final day, and before we got rid of Shaqiri, people going, yeah, Liverpool just need to offload players first and then they're bringing them in. Journalists don't have a Scooby-Dooby-Doo about what's going on at Liverpool Football Club these days. They don't have an absolute what's-it of a clue. So, you know, I just believe it when it has actually happened. When he's announced, I'll believe it. But until then, no. But I can still get excited. I can still hope for Bellingham, and that's what I'm going to do. So Choo choo. But we'll move on. Let's have a look. A lot of people, again, it's comments like this, you know, just stay off Twitter. But it comes in the YouTube comments as well. So, you know, you can't get away from it. But yeah, I'm lucky. I'm not saying Craig's not, but I'm quite thick-skinned. So I read a comment. I think, you know, if it gets to me, leave it. You know, I just won't read through the comments. But Craig loves the interaction with you guys, and all the time he'll just read the comments, trying to get, you know, the conversation going with you lot, because he loves the lot of you. So yeah, when he sees a comment like that, obviously it's going to hit him hard because he's scrolling through them all. So yeah, just stop with the comments. Stop with the disgusting comments. If you got nothing, my mum has brought me up in saying, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. So don't. All right. We'll move on. Didn't the Bellingham rumours come from Paul Joyce, says Tobias Bakke? I don't know. I've not seen it. It's come from the Daily Star as far as I've got it here. I hope Paul Joyce has said it, because he seems to be one of the only reliable ones. But I doubt he would say anything concrete. He probably says that we're interested in Jude Bellingham. Who wouldn't be interested in Jude Bellingham? He's an outstanding midfielder. So there you go. Someone says, Rehan says, will you be here tomorrow? We'll have to see. We had a Cop of the Week plan for tomorrow, so we're going to have to see from now on what's going on. But yeah, we'll comment on that when we know. Let's have a look. Anybody else say? Football Reborn says, Liverpool is skint on money quite a bit of the time. We're tight with our money, yes. We like to be run sustainably. FSG, try and run us in a certain way. Do I think it's past the times? Yes. Do I think we need to move on? Yes. Do I think we're skint? Absolutely not. And that's why it's frustrating for us Liverpool fans, because we're not skint at all. Put your hands in your pocket. Yeah. I'm not saying pay the money that Man City and Chelsea are paying. I'm not saying we need this signing, this signing, this signing, this signing, but just give us what we need, which is depth in all areas. And in certain areas at the minute, we don't get it. And we saw, you know, during the international break, Harvey Elliott got injured, Takumi Minamino's injured, Firmino got injured in the Chelsea game. We're now low in the forward area, aren't we? And that was what we were worried about. And just like last season, there's a few people worried about the centre-back area. And, you know, lo and behold, we had a centre-back crisis all season. And now I thought we would learn from that, but we didn't. And we may get lucky, and it may be that, you know, we don't have a crisis up front this season, but we're living life on the edge again, aren't we? Which Liverpool Football Club shouldn't be needing to do. Sunil says, love the vids, bro. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and all your positive comments, so thank you very much. A comment here about Memphis Depay. I saw him for the Netherlands last night. Unbelievable footballer he is. You know, a few people used to say he was overrated. I think he's very talented. You know, he was playing against Turkey, who I remember a certain Tom Garrett saying was going to be, you know, the team to watch in the Euros, but they didn't prove to be. But Netherlands just took the piss last night, didn't they? Depay was outstanding. But yeah, he's gone to Barcelona on a free, so he's not going to go to us. Mickey O'Neill says Isaac to Liverpool. This is one I am on board with. You know, before he signed that new deal with Real Sociedad, it was one I really, really wanted. He looks the real deal, doesn't he? He looks really special, Alexander Isaac. And he's a player that I will be keeping an eye on, because it's not long before he goes to a top side. I know he signed that new deal with Real Sociedad, but I still give it maybe a year or two. That's just to increase his price, because this guy is going to the top. Very good. Let's have a look. Anything else? Ian McCartney says, I'd rather be run like Liverpool than City. Completely and utterly agree, mate. You know, I'd much rather be run like this, but I would still like Liverpool to, you know, do a bit more if they can. Thunder512 says, Antonio would be good, our replacement for Origi. I presume that means. He wouldn't, in my opinion. I'm going to give a few reasons for why he wouldn't be. Now, Mikel Antonio is a player that I am obsessed with. I love the guy. You know, he's a cult hero. He's funny. You know, I love the fact that he was signed by West Ham as a fullback. He can play a number of different positions. He's now, you know, their striker, their number 9, which I think is madness, and he's banging them in. You know, he's just an absolute legend, isn't he? And he's just so effective. But like a few people that Liverpool have, his hamstrings are made of breadsticks, and therefore, why would we move for someone that's injury prone like that? And 2, his age, sign young. And when you're buying off a Premier League rival, you're going to pay over the odds. So, no, I wouldn't sign Mikel Antonio. I'm just going to appreciate him at a very effective West Ham because they're doing well, and he is a big reason for that, isn't he? So, yeah, up the hammers for Antonio. But no, he is a good player. But yeah, a mate of mine is a West Ham fan, so I do have a soft spot for them. But he is literally 31. So no, I wouldn't want him. But there we go. We move. Let's have a look. Thunder says, Jack, that is very true. I didn't think of that. Didn't think of what? Interesting. I'd love to know what was true. Let's have a look. Anything else? Daddy Wolves, thank you for the comments. It wouldn't be a stream that I did without talking about this man, would it? Kylian Mbappe. No, it's not happening. Stop thinking it's going to happen. He will be a Real Madrid player next season, and if he's not, he'll continue, and he'll have used it for a huge contract off PSG. It's as simple as that. And, he'll get criticised either way, so he can't win. He could come to the Premier League, but do I think we're interested? Yes. Do I think it's one of them where we're interested, but we're not willing to pull our wallet out? Yes. So there we go. It's as simple as that. Do I think Mbappe would join us if we were actually in the race and willing to pay him the money that he needs, the money that his agent needs, and the money that the club needs, and signing on fees and stuff like that? I think he would be interested, yes. But do I think we're willing to do it? No, I don't. LFC Kazam says, how serious is Elliott's injury? As far as I'm seeing, Liverpool are expecting him to be back for Leeds. So there we go. Let's have a look. Declan07 says, play FIFA. Lol. Interesting. Don't know what that's about. But we move. Let's have a look. Anything else here? Rudranil Das says, Bellingham, Adeyemi, Doku are my top 3 signings. I want Liverpool to sign this next summer. You got this. What are your thoughts? My thoughts? I'll tell you my thoughts. Bellingham, well behind. I'm all on that train, firmly on that train. I would really want him next summer. I think he'd be an outstanding signing. Doku, I also think, is a very good long-term replacement for Sadio Mane. I really do. So yeah, I think those 2 would be tremendous signings, and I don't think the 2 of them are impossible either. Yes, we're going to have to pay a lot of money for Bellingham, but he's worth it. Yes, I think we could have got Doku this summer, but for some reason we're waiting, and for some reason his name's not being brought up. The names that I've seen banging around after the deadline was, Premier League players like Jarrod Bowen, Ismaila Sarr. Now, Ismaila Sarr has started the season really well, so if Watford go down, I can see him being bought by Liverpool on a cut price deal with them obviously going back to the Championship. But is Sarr and their summer signings enough to keep them up? We'll have to wait and see. I've seen someone as well. I've completely missed it. It's up above somewhere. I could try and find it, but we've been spammed. So, yeah, I can't find it. But I saw somebody linking us to St. Maximan. It's Mark Meehan. Got it. I think this would be a very, very good signing. I want to see quite a lot. We've got here as well people saying about Lautaro Martinez. I don't know how true that was. Obviously, he was really linked with Spurs. It looked like they'd agreed a deal, and then that just disappeared, and nobody said anything else about it. So, God knows what happened there. I assume it was to do with my mind's gone blank. I assumed it was to do with the Harry Kane deal. They would probably only bring him in if they were getting rid of Harry Kane. Anything else? Jack, who do you think Liverpool should have signed in your opinion? It's difficult to put names on it, I think there's a few people that could have strengthened our squad. I think we needed to bring in another forward because I think our options there are quite weak. I'm not talking about our initial front 3. I'm not talking about, the fact that we have the Fab 4 and, throwing Firmino in with the front 3 that we've played for the majority of this season so far. But yeah, when you get a couple of injuries, for example, if we lose Salah, there is no one that can do anywhere near what he does for us. If you lose two of them four, you're absolutely screwed. If Salah is getting marked out of the game and we're struggling for goals, our best alternative on the bench is, Big Div. We'll move on. Let's have a look. I'm going to head off, Jack. Might see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not going to stay for much longer. I appreciate it was a late stream tonight, so thank you very much. And we'll keep you posted about tomorrow. Let's have a look. Anything else? Marlon would have been great, says Rihan. Yes, he was. He would have been. Ended up going to, of course, Borussia Dortmund, didn't he? Another great signing for Dortmund, and one that, I'm sure they'll end up doubling his money, tripling his money, whatever. So there you go. Ranil Das says, do you think we need a backup right back right now? Yes, I do. I rate Nico Williams. I think Connor Bradley's good coming through too. But I think our system revolves a lot around Trent Alexander-Arnold. And because for some reason we don't do backups in certain areas, don't ask me why, especially with key players. For some reason we don't do having strong backups for if they're not around. We rushed players like Nico Williams through and didn't give them enough game time within the youth setup. And when he got thrown in the deep end, he got criticism on the one bad game that he had, which, hits a youngster really hard. And that, goes again into what we say about social media. And Nico is good enough to play first team in the Premier League. For somewhere like Southampton, he'd be playing week in, week out. Everyone would be singing his praises. It does worry me if Trent gets injured. It really does, just like Mo Salah. So, yeah, potentially we need a stronger right-back option. But, I am one that is confident in the ability of Nico Williams and Connor Bradley as well. I just think people need to stop getting on their back when they slip up at one point. And, I'm a football fan, and at times somebody has a bad game, you go, they're shocking, something like that. They are. This so-and-so is absolutely shit. We've done it loads with Adrian. I do it with Adrian. I laugh and joke about that. I did it the other day with Loris Karius. I've just done it with Divock Origi. But, it's also important to remember, especially when you get a young guy coming in, their development is huge. Their scope for development is huge. It's about timing. And it was difficult for Nico Williams. It's the fact that he's got to, be an understudy for the best right back in the world at a young age when he's had hardly any first team experience is obviously going to be a difficult job for him. So, yeah, do I think we need one? Possibly in the long term if Nico wants to go. I'm a fan of Connor Bradley, but I don't want to happen to him what happened to Nico, in the fact that he loses game time for the under-23s because he's just sat on the bench or, not playing much. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. What David says, thank you for this, mate. I really, really appreciate that. Views aren't great tonight. I appreciate it's because we're late. I appreciate it's probably because people knew that Craig wasn't coming on. But yeah, thank you. If you could give this a like, give this a share, I'll probably be back tomorrow. So yeah, thank you for that. Chris Powell says, if you're good enough, you're old enough. I agree and disagree with this. And I'll tell you for why, as Nessa from Gavin and Stacey says. I'll tell you for why. It's because that's not always the case. And it is in a lot of cases. You get generational talents like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kylian Mbappe, Philip Foden, who come through and they're ready to be thrown in. But I disagree with that because, when you're the understudy for the best right back in the world, your development is getting, you're not getting developed as well as you can do because you're not getting as much game time as you can do because FSG aren't buying players to fill in certain positions. But obviously you're not good enough yet to be thrown in to random Premier League games because you're still young and you're still developing. That is where you get to a situation like we're in. And Nico did really well in cup games. But then he got thrown in at left back at the end of the season and didn't have his greatest of performance. I thought he played okay, but obviously he got a yellow card early on and got dragged off the pitch. He got death threats after one game as well, I believe. And that, for a kid's confidence, is going to knock him. But kids are going to have bad games. I remember Trent when he first started up. You know, he got torn to pieces by Marcus Rashford against United one time. He got hate, but he came back. He got stronger. He was allowed to develop further. But when you're Nico and you're an understudy and you're not getting as much game time, that becomes harder. And that's all I'm saying. He's good enough, yeah, but give him time. Let him develop. Let him get more game time, and you'll see. The same with Conor Bradley. He'll be allowed now with Nico staying around. He'll get constant action in the under-23s. He'll be allowed that development time. And what I didn't want this summer was us to sell Nico and go, oh, right, Conor, you need to be with the first team, and you're going to hardly play with the under-23s. You're going to be with us. You're going to be in the first team. You're going to be sat on the bench. You're hardly going to play football. And we're going to, you know, it's going to hinder your development slightly. He needs to continue playing football. He needs to continue with that. So, yeah, that's my opinion. Ant Wango says, love you, Jackie boy. Loved you over on Redman. Love you over here under Craigie boy. Swoon, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, mate. Let's have a look. Anything else? Joshua Sunil, do you think Saka is better than Greenwood? Stop comparing brilliant young players. I don't understand it. We all do it at times. Don't get me wrong. We all do it. But with Saka and Greenwood, they're completely different players. Saka is a player that can play on the wing and also a very, very, very good wing back. Honestly, you know, really, really rate Bukayo Saka. He's a player that I wanted at Liverpool at one point. Mason Greenwood is one of the best finishers of his age group in world football. He is incredible. He's better through the middle. I don't like how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is maintaining his career. I don't like, you know, the constant change of being on the right. I don't like the Ronaldo signing because for me it hinders the development of Mason Greenwood. But he's still getting good game time. He's banging them in, and he's going to be world class in the future. I tell you that now. I think, based on his shooting, I think, you know, he's generational. I will say that. I will say that because his finishing ability is outstanding. I honestly think that. So yeah, people will laugh at me for saying that, but I think his finishing ability for a guy of his age, you know, how he hits the ball, I think, yeah, he's an outstanding young talent. I really, really think that. I really do. But he needs to be played through the middle more, and he won't be now because of Ronaldo. So yeah, and he's got Solskjaer as his manager. So there we go. 97YNWA97 says Kelleher to show his class again. Yes, it's time for this man to get more game time. It's time for him to show his class again. It's time for him to show why he's leapfrogged Adrian and why he's Liverpool's number 2. And he has an opportunity to go to the club. What was the point in extending Adrian's contract, which is what we've all been saying anyway. So yeah, there we go. I'm happy with Kelleher. I think he needs more game time. I think he's another player, which, like I said before, potentially giving him the number 2. I think maybe if we're strengthening Adrian's loan, he should have been our number 2. And his contract, he should have been our number 2. And we should have sent out Kelleher on loan for the season, let him get some first team football at a high level for a whole season, and then have him come back as our number 2. Either that or sack off Adrian and give Kelleher every game as our number 2, as in give him all the cup games and give him every single game that Alisson cannot play. But, you know, keeping Adrian around, I don't understand why you're going to do that, because surely it's going to affect the game time of Kelleher. No, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Muck Third Kit says Dada Pickles 456. I'm going to stay till past, by the way, so you got 5 minutes to get your comments in before I go. Will Mateusz Musialowski be world class in your opinion, Jack? Too early to say, but he's got the potential to be. Because, you know, I like what I see with that kid. His dribbling ability is, you know, close. I don't like comparing players to this, especially when they're this young. But the ball at his feet, the low centre of gravity, the dribbling ability. I see that. I see Messi. You know, I hate the fact that I've said that, but I do. And if you watch him, you'll see it too. I really do. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not being a knobhead. I'm not going, oh, Musialowski's the next Messi. No, I'm not saying that at all. You know, he's just got characteristics of the GOAT, which, you know, is always a good sign, isn't it? But he's got to keep fit. His development has to be perfect. And he's just got to keep going with what he's doing, and he'll be class. Let's have a look. Anything else? I'm going to leave this on for a bit. Anything else here? Anything else? Fahim, I think this is an interesting comment. Jack, who is more likely to make our future front three, Gordon or Musialowski? Now, I am firmly of the opinion that players like this should be told that that is where they can get one day. But we should also be going, right, we're going to spend money and bring in players like Jeremy Doku to strengthen our options. And then if Gordon and Musialowski develop to be better than players like Jeremy Doku, then they can go in the front three. Who out of the two? I don't know. Gordon is probably slightly ahead of Musialowski right now in terms of, he played a pre-season, fans know about him, but they both are capable of it. They really are. And out of the two, I couldn't pick one. I really couldn't. Anything else? But yeah, I think both will get game time in the Cups this season. I really do. Anything else? Where is any comments quickly before I go? Curtis Jones, world class, says Tommy. No, not world class. Come on, stop throwing that about. Paul Smith agrees with me. He could be a future superstar. Yeah, but it's important to not do these things and say, look, he's going to be world class. He's going to be this player. He has the potential to be. And I think that's what worries me about Harvey Elliott. I honestly think he will be an incredible player in the future. I really, really do. But it worries me now that we're throwing a lot on his shoulders this season. And I think that is something that we need to sort. But yeah, I really like the academy at Liverpool. I really like the job that Alex Inglethorpe does, the bridge between the academy and the first team. I like how we do give them game time in the Cups, but we need to be careful not to give them too much game time because we'll run them into the ground. Look at Paul Glatzel, injury after injury after injury. Look at Ryan Brewster. He had a long-term injury. We ended up chefing him out to Sheffield United, and look at him now. Not the player he once was. Leighton Stewart's one that has got injured recently. We just need to manage these players a bit better, I think. Jacko is our backup goalkeeper. Adrian, I hope Kelleher's our long-term number 2 from now on, in my opinion. People, getting on me for Jones. I know he's a good talent by that point. I know that we need to give him some time, but he's not world-class, which is what the comment said to me. He's not world-class. So there we go. But, I think he's a very, very good talent. And he's another one that got game time last season. He's going to get a lot less than that this season, in my opinion. And how will he cope with that? How will that affect his development? He's already getting linked to clubs like Aston Villa. Will he end up getting, thrown over there or to another Premier League club? You don't want to constantly see that, do you? You don't want to see people thrown in the deep end too soon and then go down the pecking order. We've seen it from Nico Williams. We're seeing it with Curtis Jones now. A comment about Gio Reyna. Yes, a player that I am also very fond of and would be happy to see Liverpool in for. But he's going to cost a lot of money. Are Liverpool willing to pay that? But yeah, I'm going to finish on this one. Pedals saying, well, Klopp likes to bring players up. Don't forget Trent. Trent is a generational talent. Trent has reinvented the right-back position. I always see comments about moving Trent into midfield, and I don't understand the obsession of it. I know Gareth Southgate tried it the other day. I don't get the obsession. If it's not broke, don't fix it. He's a generational right-back. He has reinvented the entire position, So why change it? Why change it? And, your comment specifically saying Klopp likes to ring players up, don't forget Trent. Trent is one of a million because, the guy is world class. You get players like this here and now. And yes, we'll get more players like it within our academy. And I know Klopp likes to do that. But it's important. It's so, so important to have a balance. That is the important thing. And I think at times we put too much pressure on these young players. I think, getting Harvey Elliott to do the job of replacing Gini and Shaqiri is a lot of pressure for an 18-year-old. And lo and behold, we've seen him get injured after the first few games of the season. It may not be a serious injury. It may not be a long-term one, but it's because he's playing a lot of football at a high level. And you've got to manage this. Look at Phil Foden. Pep Guardiola said that he said for years that Phil Foden was the best young talent he's ever seen. He's worked with Messi. And he said that. Yet, did he throw Foden in at the deep end? No. He managed his game time perfectly. Perfectly. And that's what you have to do these days. There's too many games. It's very physical in the Premier League, and you have to be careful with players like this. And I'm just worried that we'll end up with how we do it. We'll end up running these players into the ground, and I'm confident in our young players. You know, I used to do a show before. I used to run a whole channel on the academy at Liverpool. I love some of our young talent. I think we've got so much. I think we've got it in abundance. I think we've got one of the best academies in the world. But I'm worried about, you know, the future of these players, because we play them a lot. We give them a lot of game time, or at times we do sometimes hinder the development of them. So yeah, that's all I'm saying there. So that's my opinion. And that is where I'm going to leave today. And I will probably be back tomorrow for more. Will I be with Craig? Will I be with Connor? Will I be with Steve? We'll have to wait and see. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So thank you very much. Thank you for all your nice comments during the stream about myself, about Craig, and about Connor. I really appreciate it. And all I can ask is that you can give time to Craig and his family. Please don't spam him with messages. If you are, just make them nice and tell him how much you want him to stay on and making these videos. But thank you. I really, really appreciate it. You joining me for this. And you shall see me tomorrow, I am sure. So thank you. Good night. I'm sorry about the Wi-Fi issues at the start of this. It will be fixed. I promise you that. We love you all, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.